He wasn't supposed to react like that, but sometimes the smallest movement is louder than a gunshot. The ballroom glows in warm amber light. Crystal glasses clink softly, and polite laughter drifts through the air, like something rehearsed. Staff Sergeant Daniel Hayes stands near the back, straight posture, hands steady on the leash. Beside him, Rex sits still too, still, ears forward, eyes scanning not the crowd, not the exits, but one man across the room, Victor Langford, the kind of man people instinctively admire. Clean suit, perfect smile, the scent of expensive cologne cutting through the room like a signature. Daniel notices nothing at first, just another ceremony, another speech, another night pretending the world is simple. But Rex shifts, not a bark, not a step, just a breath that changes shape, slow, deeper, heavier, the kind that used to mean something in places Daniel doesn't talk about anymore. He tightens his grip. Easy, boy, he whispers, but Rex doesn't look at him, his gaze locked, unblinking. Daniel follows that line of sight. Victor laughs at something someone says, raising a glass, his movements smooth, controlled, practiced. The room leans toward him like gravity, favors his presence. Everything feels normal, too normal, the kind of normal that hides things under polished surfaces and quiet agreements. Then it happens, not a speech, not a shout, just a small movement. Victor lifts his hand to adjust his cuff, a simple gesture, something anyone would miss. But Rex doesn't. His body goes still in a way that feels wrong, like silence before a storm. Not fear, not aggression, something sharper, something certain. Daniel feels it before he understands it, that shift, that old instinct, the one that says pay attention when nothing looks wrong. Rex rises slowly, no command given, no permission asked. The leash tightens, but he doesn't pull. He waits, watching, breathing in something the room cannot see. Daniel's pulse slows. Instead of racing, a strange calm settling in, because somewhere deep down, he knows Rex isn't guessing. He's remembering. The music continues, soft piano under quiet conversation, glasses still clinking, footsteps still moving. But for Daniel, the sound fades like it's underwater, and all that remains is the space between Rex and that man across the room. Victor lowers his handcuff, adjusted, smile unchanged, but something invisible has already shifted, something no one else has noticed yet. Rex takes one step forward, then stops. Daniel doesn't call him back, not this time, not when the air itself feels like it's holding its breath. And in that fragile, suspended moment, Daniel realizes the room hasn't frozen yet, but it's about to. The applause fades into something thinner as conversations drift back in cautious fragments. But Daniel does not move, and neither does Rex. The leash hangs between them, not tight, not loose, just present, like a line drawn between instinct and restraint across the room. Victor Langford continues speaking to a group of donors, his voice calm, measured, the kind of voice that makes people lean closer, not because they have to, but because they want to. A server passes by carrying a tray of drinks, the scent of citrus and polished glass cutting briefly through the air, but Rex does not track it. His focus does not break. It narrows. Daniel exhales, slowly, feeling the weight of something he cannot name settle behind his ribs. He has learned to trust silence more than noise. Learn that the quietest moments often carry the loudest truths. Easy, he says again, softer this time, not a command, more like a question. Rex's ears flick once, but his eyes remain locked. Daniel follows again, studying Victor more carefully. Now the details that seemed ordinary before begin to shift, the way his shoulders stay just a fraction too still, the way his smile arrives a second too late, the way his eyes scan not faces, but exits, not often, just enough. Daniel has seen that before, not here, not in rooms filled with polished wood and soft lighting, but somewhere far from this, somewhere dustier, louder, harsher, where small details meant everything. Rex takes another step forward, then stops again, as if measuring distance not in feet, but in certainty. Daniel feels the leash move through his fingers, a quiet reminder that he is still in control, or at least supposed to be. A woman near Victor laughs lightly, touching his arm for a moment, and Victor responds with the same easy charm, but Rex's breathing changes again, slower, deeper, drawing something in that no one else notices. Daniel shifts his stance, adjusting his weight the way he used to when something did not feel right, when the world tilted just enough to matter. The music continues, but it feels distant now, like it belongs to another room, another moment. Victor lifts his glass again, takes a small sip, and for a second his hand pauses mid-air, not enough for anyone else to question, but enough for Rex's posture to tighten, not aggressive, not yet, just certain. Daniel's pulse steadies instead of rising, because somewhere beneath the confusion, there is clarity. Rex is not reacting to the room, he is reacting to something inside it, something hidden beneath the Surface of polite conversation and warm light Daniels. Gaze drops briefly to Rex, then back to Victor, connecting a line that does not exist for anyone else. The leash shifts again, a quiet tension building not between man and dog, but between what is seen and what is sensed. And in that fragile stretch of time, Daniel understands something he has not felt in years. This is not a misunderstanding. This is not nerves. This is a signal. And Rex is waiting not for permission, but for the moment when waiting is no longer enough. It begins with something no one else. Here's a shift so small it barely exists, the faint change in the rhythm of breath, the subtle tightening of air that carries a memory. Daniel does not see it yet, but Rex does. His head tilts just a fraction, nostrils flaring, drawing in a scent buried beneath layers of cologne, polished wood, and chilled air. Something older, something wrong, the kind of scent that does not belong in a room like this. Daniel watches the dog closely now, every movement measured, every signal deliberate. Rex is no longer scanning. He is fixed, anchored to a single point across the room. Victor Langford continues speaking, but his words have become background noise to Daniel, like static behind a signal that is trying to break through. A server brushes past Victor again, and for a brief second the man steps aside. His jacket shifts, just enough, just long enough for something unseen to slip into the air. Rex's body responds instantly, not with noise, but with certainty. His posture lowers, his weight shifts forward, and Daniel feels it travel through the leash like a current, not pulling, not lunging, just aligning. Daniel's fingers tighten, but he does not restrain, not yet, because something in his chest tells him this moment matters more than control. Victor pauses mid-sentence, not because he notices room once, then settle for a fraction of a second on Rex, and in that instant something breaks, not visibly, not dramatically, just a flicker behind the eyes, a calculation, a recognition. Too late. Rex stops, 3 feet away, not close enough to touch, not far enough to ignore his body, still, his gaze unyielding, the kind of stillness that demands attention without asking for it. Daniel steps forward, behind him, closing the distance by a single measured step, the leash now loose between them like a quiet agreement. Victor smiles again, but it does not reach his eyes this time. His hand lowers slowly, as if unsure where to place itself. The room begins to notice not the reason, but the shift. Conversations, thin voices drop, a few heads turn, drawn not by sound, but by tension. Rex inhales once, deep, steady, and holds it, as if confirming something final. Daniel feels it, the confirmation, the same certainty that once meant everything when hesitation was not an option. Victor clears his throat, attempting to reclaim the moment, but the rhythm is gone, the smoothness fractured by something unseen. A security guard at the far end of the room straightens, subtly sensing change. Without context, a glass is set down, a chair shifts, slightly, small movements echoing a larger truth. Rex takes one final step forward and lowers his head, not in submission, not in aggression, but in focus, the kind that sees past surfaces, past words, past performance. Daniel's voice comes low, calm, not directed at Rex, but carried by the weight of decision. It is okay, he says, though he does not know who he is reassuring. Rex does not move again. He does not need to. Victor's fingers twitch just once near his cuff, and in that small, unfinished motion the room tightens further, the space between people stretching thin as awareness begins to spread, not understanding, not yet, but something close. Daniel's heart does not race, it settles steady, grounded, because he knows this moment is no longer about doubt. It is about truth waiting to be seen. And as the silence deepens and every eye begins to drift toward the same point, Daniel realizes nothing has happened yet, and everything already has. It is the smallest sound that breaks the illusion, not a shout, not a command, just the faint metallic tick as something slips